I'm Dead Palette. We're going to read a story entitled Happy Halloween. Let's see what this has on offer. I'm ellipses. Not sure what happened to me. I just ellipses started to like ellipses, the ellipses. He was visibly shaking now, holding his hands up to his face to see the earthquake that was erupting inside him, as well as making sure that it was truly him. He shoved the next word out in an almost unintelligible stutter. Pain. The winter-spring night transition confused me. Humidity licked the air, as soon as it was finished waving its tongue around, the cold night air froze my body, keeping me alert. However, it didn't need to. I felt my jaw hug the floor as my friend slowly dipped his mind into the pool of madness. When he dragged me outside, away from the party, much to my displeasure, I was propping myself up against the railing of the porch, but at this point, I manned up and stood straight up to face my friend. What is happening? We've read all of that, and I have no clue as to what is supposed to be transpiring at the moment. At the very end, we find out that we're at a party and that we're outside. Presumably they are drunk and confused. I have no idea what they mean by dipped his mind into the pool of madness. Maybe this will start explaining some shit, but I'm confused already. The pain, yes, their pain, was my pleasure. They had to die. He heaved a sigh. I'm glad I told you that. Maybe they're at a party and they killed a bunch of people and they're still calling it a party. Is it a party if everyone's dead? It's a party if only one person's dead. You're glad? You just confessed to the murder of 3 other classmates. He sagely nodded in with a newfound calm of a killer. He was no longer not sure of himself. There was no turning back. He gave a demented half-smile and peered at me from underneath his long bangs. I realize I said it. He took a step closer. And I did it. I knew what would happen in the next few moments. Why did you tell me that? You just sealed my fate. You, dear God, it was hard to talk through confused tears. Monster. Quite a fitting term. My friend always had this little backpack on him. He never took it off. That and his hoodie. It was a Kingdom Hearts backpack. That and his hoodie. He fucking loved that hoodie. Anyway, the backpack wasn't that big, so you could imagine it was actually a purse. So you could imagine the surprise I experienced when he drew a machete from the damn thing. So it's just mallet space. So it's just Jeff the Killer with a backpack that has a machete in it. That don't impress me much. Not what you would expect from a serial killer. It wasn't the Jason Voorhees blood-soaked machete. No, it represented him in this moment. Sharp and curved. It wasn't like that other murderer that you might clearly associate with this. Sharp and curved to a fault. Even though it was night, the blade was black. It seemed to radiate a sort of light. Maybe it represented the light at the end of my tunnel after it plunged into me. He nodded towards the door. 5 seconds. Wait, no, I'm doing it wrong. 5 seconds. I figured out when I killed the captain of the football team that I loved it when they tried to run. Wait, no. We live in a society. So the fun of serial killers in fiction is that they have a motivation that is relatable. This person does not have a relatable motivation. All we know is that he killed a football player. There's nothing wrong with sympathizing with a disgusting, evil person, even if the purpose of relating with them is that you relate to something evil about them. Like people who are, let's just take wealthy for example. People who are wealthy, like if a horror movie where a bunch of wealthy people get murdered for being wealthy and that's the reason. There's nothing wrong with sympathizing with that, even though murder is wrong, and it's wrong to hate people just because they have money or something like that, right? But emotionally, it resonates with you, and it's a catharsis to associate with someone doing something terrible. And it's better to fantasize about those kinds of things and get them out in a safe space where they can't hurt anyone. But this isn't doing that. This is just like this football player, and it's really cringy. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a football player, or rather what I'm getting at is that, like, that's all we have to go on? So is this just like an anti-football player screed? Is that what we're... That's such a... If that's your revenge porn, if your revenge porn is I hate people who play football, you have a really basic bitch taste in revenge. At that moment, I realized that I wasn't his target. No, he was trying to do something to me, his best friend, as some sort of sick, psychotic way of preservation, or whatever the fuck they think of when they gut the people they try to know over so many years. This is word salad. This is utter word salad. It means nothing. He wanted to slaughter everyone at this party. Every fucking person here will die tonight. I kicked off of the wooden patio and fumbled with the handle. My hands felt slippery, arms knee wheeze heavy, bubbly, trying to open that fucking sliding glass door. My sliding glass door jams all the time. It's very frustrating. I threw the thing open as I heard an echo sound of a two being made. I threw the thing open as I heard an echo sound of a tube being made. This is word salad. This isn't a story. This is just random. The fuck happened to the three? Solo cups scattered across the ground. Beer spilled everywhere. Beer spills were everywhere. Beer spills were everywhere. Hair was frizzed up to the ceiling. Everyone out now! Okay, so I guess like our main character here, our narrator, is trying to warn, hey, my friend is crossing the line. The last thing I saw was the confusion on everyone's faces before everything went black. Had I died? No, I was still very much alive. He cut the fucking power. I knew my door was about 5 feet to my right, so I quickly dashed towards the only landmark I cared to remember at this point. What do you mean the only landmark I cared to remember at this point? You said that my door, so it's your house, and you're saying that the landmark, yeah, of course that's the only landmark you would care about. Everyone's going insane. I, once again, fumbled with the doorknob before swinging the cheap door open. Cheap door? Why? Is that what you describe in this frantic moment? The door was a very, economical door, a very cheap door. Before I could react to anything, yell, or even finish my step out the door, the blackened blade opened up my chest with a diagonal slash, and I fell. Across my abdomen, all I could feel was the searing heat, as if I was the fuel in a bonfire. I was gripped by the wide slash in a futile attempt to, do something. Again, I don't know what all of the... So he, opens the door and gets slashed, sure, but then, all of this is so unnecessary. The goal of like reading these stories is like not to like impose my personal taste on something. It's to try and see what a story is doing and approach it where it is and say, you know, here's how I think you might meet your goal better. But I don't know what the goal of this story is. Let me know if what do you think the author's goal was with this story? What do you think they were trying to impart on the reader? What feeling, motivation, political ideology, like what was their motivation in doing this? What were they trying to get people to feel? I watched way too many movies. I heard splashes of blood, extremities, and fuck. One time even heard a head fall to the floor. All falling to the floor. After the last scream echoed through my head, physically, it will always ring throughout my head. Light footsteps walked towards me. So you didn't die in this, you survived. I don't know what you having watched a bunch of movies has to do with anything. I watched movies. I was in a serial killer attack, and there's blood and head falling, and the soup now. It's just random. It's just random words, random thoughts. Okay, wait. Hey, buddy. He said, kneeling down to my side. Remember when we used to play games? Let's play one right now. I couldn't move. The pain was too great. I attempted to lift my arm, yet to no avail. He flashed that fucking smile again. That one that plunged into my very fucking soul. That I can't tell you how many times I have heard this exact phrase in a creepypasta. Numerous times. That one that plunged into my very fucking soul. Why does that phrase come up all the time? And took out everything that you held dear to you. He flashed that fucking smile, that one that plunged into your very fucking soul and took out everything you held dear to you. It didn't do it to me. It did to you, writer. His hand moved with the orchestrated speed of an experienced killer, and his blade plunged into my hand. He wriggled the blade around for a bit, each movement causing my shriek to become louder. Let me know if you're into torture porn. Is this working for you? If you're into Goro, is this working for you? He withdrew the blade from my hand, but struck in the same general vicinity with a chop that severed 3 of my fingers. Sounds could not describe the searing heat that coursed throughout everything. Just everything. Making sure I could see, plain as day, he closed his jaw down on my severed fingers, chewing them contently. As he bit down harder, the fingernail on my former index finger shattered. Wonder if that's true. Wonder if you could like shatter a nail on a finger by biting it. Maybe, I suppose so. It's an interest. Hey, Mythbusters, are you still a thing? The scumbag before me quivered with pleasure and spit out the fingers. Oh yeah, gotta love that crunch. How does one move from slightly antisocial to sociopathic faster than fucking ludicrous speed? This person is using the word fuck a lot for the purpose of like saying bigger and badder, but what they're describing isn't like a realistic thing, so you can't use fuck in a conversational way. Like I'll say like fucking, like I'll use it as a verbal tick, right? But this person is using it in like a weird premeditated flowery way where they're like talking about like the searing heat, but also like the fucking ludicrous speed. Doesn't match up. For a moment he gazed upon my broken body, then smiled again. It never left his face. I'll be back soon. But now... He looked out the door. He looked out the door, and both of us recognized my parents' car. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Gotham awaits. He winked and slunk out of the door, closing it behind him. I laid there motionless. In a few minutes, a middle-aged woman was about to receive a heart attack. That's a good line, like referring to your mom as a middle-aged woman, like sardonically. That's cool. The door opened, and the night light once again poured in. But instead of the shocked actions of my parents, two ball-like things rolled in. What? Two ball-like things rolled in? Happy fucking Halloween, I gazed into the lifeless eyes of my parents' severed heads before blacking out. Oh, okay, so he severed his parents' heads and threw them in there. Okay, then I did that wrong. Happy fucking Halloween. What did I just read? I just wanted to have a good Halloween. Why am I... we have a comment here from Grizzly Bear. I didn't enjoy this one very much. The writing was decent. Press X to doubt. And had a few errors, which I corrected. So this had even more errors before this person edited it. Although you were quite heavy on the ellipses in the beginning. The frequent cursing also didn't help, I agree, as it seemed more like a lazy way of expressing disgust than anything else. Very true. There seemed to be no good reason for the main character to kill people as well. Was he the main character? I guess he was the main character, and the person who was narrating was not the main character. That makes sense. Without that, this really wasn't much of a story to begin with. The plot is barely there, and there is no time for character development. Just basically a drawn-out killing scene. I'd agree. This is just like a weird killing scene. It's not even like a drawn-out one. It's just like weird and abrupt. Most porns have like more plot than this story. I mean, like... Aside from the cursing, it was decently well written. No, it wasn't. But its unoriginality and overall weakness are what stopped me from enjoying it very much. I agree. And then we have somebody who says, damn, ellipses, that was awesome. 10 out of 10. We got another person, wow, I love this, the writing skills in this. Yeah, you just get these people who enjoy these stories. And so I never feel bad about critiquing them from my perspective, if other people are enjoying them. Boy, oh boy. If you enjoyed this, please check out the Fear Fiction Podcast, where myself, Abysme, and Slimebeast read and critique short horror stories paragraph by paragraph and bullshit while we do it from adolescent revenge fantasies, the subtle postmodern narratives, and everything in between. We read it and critique.